Irrational positivity. What does this mean? People and philosophers talk about how being rational is so important and you should always think rationally and critically. And I am not disagreeing that you should be rational most of the time. Most philosophers hate optimism because it does not make much sense, and in contrast, they love pessimism, which is not a bad or illogical solution. When it comes to realism, pessimism always takes the cake. Pessimism is a reality that has a deeper sense of awareness and understanding of things on a more internal level. Dostoevsky said that, and it's true. Irrational optimism is the weapon of happy fools. They use this weapon all the time against problems, and sometimes they get lucky and sometimes they don't. But does this weapon actually work for a person who has deeper self-awareness, or does the sword of irrational fools break when faced with the shield of reality? Irrational positivity means, as you have probably guessed by now, believing something is possible no matter the odds, and doing the best you can do to make that something possible. I don't think that is a bad perspective to look at bad things. Some people are going to say that there is no point in doing anything. So what are you suggesting? That you should just sit there when faced with adversity and do nothing as a man and just wither away with life? Or you should do the best you can do in that scenario and die with honor? Friedrich Nietzsche said this once: "I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and the impossible." Just because something is impossible does not give you the privilege to not pursue it. And I also want to clarify one thing moving forward: humans are naive and dumb creatures. Even with our self-awareness, consciousness, and intelligence, we don't know everything. One of the things is the universe. There is no evidence of how the universe and energy work, but according to me, nothing is impossible. Now this is gonna sound a bit generic and very irrational, but if you pour your soul, time, and effort into something and take every step carefully and rationally, there is not a single soul who can stop you from achieving the things you want. I absolutely believe that you can achieve anything you like. The people who don't achieve what they want, even when doing a heavy amount of work, ignore their mistakes and blame society for their setbacks. Everyone feels sadness or grief, no matter how much knowledgeable and philosophically superior they are. Hell, they suffer even more. Like Dostoevsky said in Crime and Punishment, pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. The really great men must, I think, have great sadness on earth. Philosophy is a peculiar and weird subject. We try to find the answers to the questions that do not even exist. This further ignites our suffering. It's not that you can't make sense of things philosophically, you definitely can, but there is nothing to prove or confirm your theory. That's why there are many philosophers with drastically different conclusions about the same questions. It's all about perception and interpretation of things and how one perceives oneself. Needless to say, it's the way of the universe. Even the happy fool suffers, even though the suffering is easy to solve. My theory is pretty basic to solve a particular problem at this point in time. Maybe I'll grow in the future. So, I have not read any books on Stoicism, but I've heard so many interpretations of this philosophy that I don't think I have to read the actual book. The core message of this philosophy is that when you are faced with a problem, you have two choices: either the problem is solvable or the problem is out of your control. For example, suppose the problem is you are hungry and you have to eat food and there is food in the refrigerator. So, this problem is in your control and you can solve it. Again, suppose you have a date today and you want the clouds to not rain. You can't stop the clouds from raining no matter what you do. You can take precautions, but you can't stop the rain. So, this is out of your control. It's a basic thing to understand. Control what you can control, and put all your effort and energy into that thing, and if you cannot control something, then just relax. You can't do anything about it whether you worry or not. I believe that every problem has a solution, and if the problem does not have a solution, then it's a fact. People suffer a lot while solving a problem. In that situation, when you are suffering a lot while trying to solve an issue and there is just no way, what you need to do is, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but you need to make a plan and do your absolute best to solve that problem, and when you are done with it, then irrationally believe that it is going to work. Yes, I am telling you to not do anything because that is the best thing you can do. Irrationally believe that the work you put in is going to work. Now let me give you some of the extraordinary, amazing things that come with it. It's a superpower when you hit rock bottom and there is nothing to rely on or to hold on to when you are climbing yourself from that bottomless pit. It could be your God if you believe in one. And I am not talking about religious gods here. I think you need to separate God from religion. Second is, it makes you strong and unstoppable. The ability to override reason into irrational optimism is the recipe for not giving up on anything in any situation. You need to be a little more rational on this one. If something is not working, you have to believe that thing is gonna work by changing your ways, not by changing your goals. Also, think about anything that comes your way. That is hard. You would do it because first you know that God is with you, and second, it makes you better and stronger. Third is, it makes you confident, and I mean very confident. You will believe that you could do literally anything if you put your mind to it. It makes you satisfied in a positive kind of way, not in a cocky, narcissistic way. You have to be careful if you are trying to be an irrational optimist. It will get you killed, at least in some situations. Don't just turn your brain off. I am not telling you to be a happy fool and attack with full force all the time. No, that is not the way to pursue this. Irrational optimism means you have done everything you can to the best of your abilities, and then you believe that it's gonna work no matter the odds.